I have some fear of messing this up with him. I need to take some of my own advice with this horse. So here I'm at a place where I realize I needed a paradigm shift. It's always focused on having better relationship and better connection, not just in, did I get him to do what I want him to do? Am I controlling him? If you've had to ask yourself when working with the horse in training, am I being patient or avoiding what it takes to get a breakthrough? This video may resonate with you. Maybe you can relate to where I'm at today. A horse that's sensitive, you see progress, it's like infinitely moving towards a breakthrough, but always cutting the distance in half, so there is no real movement to the next step. And yet, you don't want to push through the threshold in a way that brings trauma. You might have had input into your situation when you look for some help. You just got to get in there and get it done. And some really let the horse come at their own speed. And both of these have pros and cons. So what do? How do you balance those needs into a place where the horse and you move forward in a relationship and into new territory without causing trauma and yet without getting completely stalled out in the process? I can relate because that's what I'm going through right now with our little Mustang, Honor. Honor, the 4-year-old BLM Mustang, was brought to us about 3.5 months ago, right before winter. And we got a good start with him, just getting to know him. And then winter hit pretty hard this year. And so there's been a lot of downtime in between that we went into survival mode. We actually moved him into a back pen area we call the jungle, but it's not an ideal place to really move forward in his education. So in one case, we just languish long-term in a place where the horse isn't really moving forward. And I don't just mean moving forward towards a goal I have. I mean moving forward into a better relationship with me as his owner. So it's hard sometimes to really know in the moment, when are you pushing into a comfort zone just enough to create growth? And when do you push so hard that the trauma it creates breaks a bond that you've begun? I want to get this one right. The horses that were with me earlier in my journey, I made a lot of mistakes with them. I am hopeful that he won't have to go through some of the troubles that my other horses had, as I didn't know any better and for sure put some trouble into those horses that I've had to work out. I want to get this right. And yet there probably really isn't a right that I'm going to be able to find. And so does that stall the progress, not wanting to make a mistake? The deeper philosophical question, however, that's come out of this whole process for me is really core, because it's one of my values. It came to me in this honest, tiny moment where I thought, if I could just get a halter on you, then we could do something. And when I really looked more closely at that thought, it occurred to me that I really deep down want to control this horse. I can't control him. It actually goes against what I talk and want to walk. And so that's why I really noticed it. I realized that was the truth that I was working out of. And I really do believe that if we're just trying to control, it's not going to bring the real relationship. And that really made me stop and think, what do I really believe? And how am I going to move forward with this horse? Before I was able to see it, if you would have asked me, is that what you're really trying to do? I would have said, of course not. I don't believe that that's right. But it's still down there in little pieces. These things where I first came from, they take a long time to get exposed. And then when I expose one of those deep core truths that I don't align with in what I want, the beautiful thing is this opportunity with Honor is to walk that out in a better way now that it's been exposed to me. And that's where transformation comes. When I look at this dilemma with honor, and I see on the one hand, we have endless patience, let the horse dictate the speed and how we move through this, no matter how long it takes. On the other hand, we have the just get it done, get on in there and push through regardless of the cost. He'll be fine. That's clearly not the direction that I'm comfortable or want to go with this horse. So when we have those two options in the balance, is there another way? The goal of all of this has to be supporting that little horse and creating a connection that we can build on. When you just let that horse make his own mind up and do his own thing and evade as much as he wants to evade, that's really not connecting our relationship forward for us to have a true partnership, which is what I want and what's really best for him. On the other hand, if I just get a rope on him and start to control him, that's not going to encourage a connected relationship either. So everything I do going forward just needs to have the main goal of connection over control or efficiency or what may feel like patient kindness and leaving him to his own thoughts and process. It's okay. It's okay. So this has just been a huge change for him to even be able to get in here and scratch him. And you can see his head's still up and he's a little concerned, but he's not nearly as freaked out as he used to be. And he's starting to feel, I think, that that's not a bad thing to get some good scratches. Yeah, it's not a bad thing. Yeah, you're a good boy. So this is big, just being able to rub on him and move back. You are a good horse. So one simple thing you can do if you're battling through some of these very same topics is notice what your real primary goal is. If you just notice that and start to try to shift your aim to be first connection and first relationship, I believe that those plans we have, which are good, we should have plans with our horse. We should have things we want to do and accomplish together. Those things are secondary and they come so much more naturally when this process starts to flow. And the horse can do the things that we want to do together with more confidence. They can be more relaxed in their body, which is huge for having lower injuries in the future. We always feel better when we work with our horses in a way that honors them. That's it. This is pretty good right here. Yeah. So I got that rope over the other side of his neck that time before he got too worried. That's pretty good. At the end of the day, when I really thought about how do I share this footage with Honor's journey, so many of you have been following along and asking about him and watching how he's doing. And I didn't know exactly what to say because the truth is we haven't made any big pivotal change yet in how we're working together. What I realized is it's not really about the halter in this case. It's about how we move forward and how we take those two ideas. How do we find a third way that really honors the horse, that we can feel good about, and that they become more confident, more willing and relaxed partners in everything that we do for the rest of their lives? That is what I want, and I'm pretty sure it's what you want too. The first thing I need to be looking for is how do I create trust and connection with this horse? And sometimes with that growth of trust and connection, it's going to take pushing into places that are not comfortable for him. And somehow we're going to have a way to do that safely, that the outcome is a positive one and that his experience is, wow, that was scary, but we got through it together. And on the other side is peace and I'm more confident. I have been working with him even in the jungle. However, the closer we get to actually trying to put a halter or a rope on him, the more I am aware of the limitations of that area to really work effectively with him. And there are some big questions looming if I were to succeed with crossing this threshold. First of all, he is absolutely worried about being caught by a rope or a halter. And even though I can put the rope halter up on his face, I cannot get the tie over the pole yet in order to really affix that knot. However, we are getting somewhere with him just trusting the fact that he can have that halter on his face. I can also rub him with the rope, which is a huge progress from when we first got him. And yet getting that rope over his neck when that happens, he goes very into worry mode in flight. And that flight panic is decreasing, but I know it's still in there. So the question in my mind looms larger and larger. What if I got the halter tied? What if I really got the rope on him? We're back in an area that's muddy from winter and is not really contained in a small enough space. Would that put us in a position where now I have got to manage and hold that rope to a place that he could fight on a level that would hurt himself? With a round pen area, for example, there's an external limit, so he can only really move so far, and I can move with him a little bit better, and I can manage the confinement between what's on his body, the halter, and what's around him externally. We can manage those two boundaries together in a way that could be more successful. And if I were to just lose him, like let go of that rope, is when that rope's attached to him and he goes fleeing from it, he's absolutely going to be in more and more fear because he can't get away from it. And then what will he do to himself in trying to flee a thing that's attached to him? That's concerning. In a round pen, that is a little more contained. He doesn't have as many places to go or trees to get wrapped around. So how do we move forward in a way that sets him up for success, not failure? We should move him back out into the round pen where he'll be more available for school. And I think that that's probably going to be the best bet for us. As we push into that comfort zone, there needs to be a place where he just can't hurt himself as we're trying to navigate where that line is. Thing that we need to start doing more of is even working together at liberty, because we don't need the halter, we don't need the lead rope to begin to have those conversations on a more serious level, but we do need a safe space for that to work. When he is on a halter, when he has feel on a lead rope, that mind will already be engaged. And so we don't just want to catch him like a fish on a line with his body only, but I really need to start working with him in a mental way where his connection to me begins to build stronger and stronger so that I am a safe place even before that physical confinement comes in. So we can work on those sides together so that hopefully they come into play in a way that feels good for him, even if it's a little scary at first. When you approach them with integrity, that you're trying to support them and make that relationship better, almost anything you go through, you can walk through to the other side and have it make you stronger in the end. Yes, that's really good. Yeah. Just getting that right back there, even around his shoulders. I like it. Yeah. This is good. I'm getting a nice rub of that rope on him. Pretty far back. I'd love to be able to kind of just slip it over his withers even. Yeah, you're a good boy. Right here. Yep, now I don't know if you can see very well, but I've got it over the top part of his neck, but lower by his withers. Thank you for coming along on the journey with us. Thanks for watching these videos. It means a lot to share these stories with all of you out there. If you have had a dilemma like this, share it in the comments. Send me a note. I'm at jamie@hopehorsemanship.com, and we would love to have you join our online community where we talk through these things as a group on a regular basis. So until next time, have a great day.